The Legend of the Veil has been out for a couple weeks now, and surely we've all completed it a dozen times over, but something I haven't seen anyone talk about in great lengths is Ramsey's final monologue when we finish the voyage. He says he may let us use its power soon, which begs the question, in what form? There are a few possibilities, so let's cover them one by one. The most requested and best decision would be to implement a map expansion, that way we get a new region to explore. If the Sea of the Damned was a map expansion, then it would alleviate a lot of the technical hurdles the game currently faces with server performance. As we all know, the servers get worse and worse each update due to the sheer number of things happening at once. Rubber banding happens all the time, regardless of your connection, and it's been a downward spiral since Season 4. So back to the Sea of the Damned. Rare made these portals all around the map, scarring the horizon for the sake of what? 2 tall tales part of a crossover? Unlikely, even with the big Disney boys flopping their balls around. When you go through one of these portals, be it for Captains of the Damned or A Pirate's Life, you're placed on a miniature server. This is away from the main game along with all that shit the game has to track. This means the regular servers aren't being strained by a map expansion, or in this case, these tall tales. So now we've covered the slew of comments that will mention this as if I don't know how bad the servers are. Now we don't need to worry about that, it's very feasible we'll be getting some sort of excursion into the Sea of the Damned soon. One of the best parts about early Sea of Thieves was learning the map. Simply put, you just didn't know the map, now every corner, every nook and cranny is being filled in. Enter the Sea of the Damned. Ideally, this would be a new region accessible only to pirate legends, accessed via the portals. I would envision the region much like the areas we see in A Pirate's Life and Captains of the Damned. As the Sea of the Damned is a place of memory, the devs could go really wild with what the architecture could look like, or even with certain curiosities. This allows it to have a unique environment with larger outposts, stone buildings, walls, lighthouses. They can go absolutely crazy. I mean, look how crazy the Spanish forts are that are being pulled from places outside of the Sea of Thieves. On that topic too, you could even have a mashup of different characters' memories, such as Flameheart, Ramsey's, or even the Cursed Captain. It would also make the islands you visit unique. As we've seen again in A Pirate's Life, we can go from a bayou to a Spanish fort to a port town in moments, and the devs could really lean into this too. As for the AI threats, we already have phantoms, ghost skeletons, and we could even have phantom reskins of the ocean crawlers and sirens, as we've seen the latter in the Sea of the Damned already, in the form of merfolk. Loot already exists as well. We have phantom loot in the Sea of Thieves, some in the game and some waiting to be released. Hell, we even have ghost ships that could spawn on us instead of skeleton ships. Maybe we could even have Old Mother as a world event. That would be really neat. Or even the Shrouded Ghost. It could be around the size of the Ancient Isles, with 2 outposts at either end and a couple of forts for world events possibly. I personally would make the area accessible only to pirate legends, as Ramsey says it off the back of the Legend of the Veil. On top of this, there should be 2 or 3 ships in the region, to ensure that the shared world cannot be escaped. It's a no from me for PvE servers, and this shouldn't be a PvE zone. I honestly think it would go really well with the current story, with the Ancients, Belle and Captain Flameheart. There's just so much scope for awesome things to happen with this. On the topic of awesome stuff, the lovely people at BenQ sent me a screen light bar in exchange for a mini review. Full disclosure, I did get this for free, but no cash changed hands. BenQ Screenbar e-reader lamp, that was a bit of a mouthful, is a light bar that attaches to the top of your monitor to allow you to light up your desk without a stupidly large lamp or putting the big light on. UK viewers will hopefully get that reference. It clips on your monitor and illuminates your whole desk. As someone who makes YouTube videos from my desk, works 40 hours a week in here, and plunders and spawn camps children in a funny pirate game, I spend a lot of time in here, and eye strain is something that's bound to happen. Some of the main features include auto dimming, so it will adjust the brightness level automatically, or you can adjust it manually. It's USB powered and plugs straight into your USB slot on your monitor, so no fiddling around with plug sockets. There's no stupid glare on the screen either, so feel free to switch it on and avoid seeing your outline as you get stuck on the worst black screen of your life. Lastly, you could adjust the colour temperature, so you can get a nice warm light or crisp white. I use both myself depending on the mood, both have their functions, so it is really personal preference. It's available for $99 RRP and can be found on BenQ's own store or Amazon. Make sure you check it out in the description down below. Thanks to the lovely people at BenQ for sending me this. On a slightly different topic, I do think that this will lean into more adventure/tall tale focuses, where we can use the Veil. The main focus of the game, as we all know, is the Flameheart story, which is occurring slowly over the course of this year. Do we think it will resolve soon? Probably not. I think this will peak in December, as hinted by Chapman in the recent podcast. Go listen to that, by the way. Nonetheless, the Veil is at the centre of it, and Ramsey could be sending us to the Sea of the Damned for an adventure. I think this may be the most likely reason for us going, although it would be such a shame to see this be a time limited event that makes the portals less useful. On a slightly related note, can we get the portals taken down to 2 across the map? There's such a blight on the horizon. Cheers. I can see Belle and Ramsay's plan being to venture to the Sea of the Damned to defeat Flameheart once and for all, which is just going to end badly for them, so let's face that. Great for us, because it will enact some much needed retribution to the trading companies, but very bad for them. Will Rare really make something that big time limited? It's a tough thing to balance. The map changes can only be achieved and be so impactful with adventures, but then again, we're not changing the Sea of Thieves map. So is this really the most likely reason to use the Veil? There could be a bit of a halfway house and we may already have the answer. Legend of the Veil is a Voyage and Tall Tale hybrid that follows an unfolding story, but in 6 months' time, Flameheart will be alive and kicking, but Ramsay keeps losing those bloody stones, trapped in a time loop. Doesn't really make sense, does it? It might be feasible that this is referring to another voyage like Legend of the Veil, with story elements and tailored towards pirate legends. Something that would be an amazing use would be longer voyages in the Sea of the Damned, smashed with tall tales with the replayability of Legend of the Veil. I'm talking raid style voyages here. The final chapter of Legend of the Veil is a mini world event that is player activated, but imagine if we take this and put it in its own server. That way you've got so many more resources at your disposal. You can create grander PvE, bigger world events, different set pieces, and swap these modules out by using portals as a means to progress the voyages. Portal 1 is like a dungeon at the start of the pirate's life in Dead Man's Grotto, with puzzle elements or a trap gauntlet. Once you reach the end, you get loot and a quest item. The second phase is an island with some difficult riddles, or something like the Bayou in Captains of the Damned. The final phase could be a boss battle with Flameheart, for example, where you have to assault a stronghold, defeat some ships defending it, storm the fort while fighting waves of enemies, and then a boss battle with the legend himself, only for a final fight against the Burning Blade in physical form. You get a great pile of loot and get to take it through the portal, back into the Sea of Thieves to sell, or for some players to steal it. It might not be as grand, but this is the most likely use for the Veil and the portals. Voyages for pirate legends rather than a map expansion or time limited adventures. Of course, tall tales are always possible, and with the Xbox showcase happening before Season 7, 1 year after a pirate's life, could we be getting a sequel? No guys, don't expect anything other than for Season 7. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and drop a like. It really helps me out and it allows me to make more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
And those who land upon